Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch. You have a story?
Yes, I have a story. Commercial banks, they say, have commenced a massive recovery of the loan disbursed to Nigerians to cushion the economic impact of the coronavirus pandemic. And several beneficiaries were shocked to see money disappearing from their accounts. According to the story, they said the loan was disbursed to household and micro, small and medium enterprises affected by the COVID-19 pandemic by the Central Bank of Nigeria through the commercial banks in 2021. And the fund was managed by NIRSAL Microfinance Bank. They said they received thousands of applications charged at 5% with a moratorium, which lasted till February 28, 2021. So some beneficiaries spoke to the correspondents in Punch, and they said they were surprised that money was deducted from their different bank accounts. A customer was the one who identified herself as Auntie Yinka. She said that the commercial bank allegedly took 750,000 from her account, and the account operated by her son, and that she was only supposed to receive 200,000 naira COVID-19 grant. And, you know, he said when it happened, she quickly called the people who handled it for her because she had to send her BVN. So first of all, she froze her account. She felt they were fraudsters. By the time she got to the account bank, they were asking her if she had collected any form of loan for COVID-19. And she said it was not a loan, that they were told it was a grant. And she was supposed to get 200,000 naira, that she didn't even see the money in her account. She didn't spend the money. That she kept asking the people who did the processing for her, because there were people who collected their BVNs to handle the processing, and they did not say anything about the money. So she was shocked that 750 was lifted from her account and that of her son. Other customers also are complaining about the same thing. But I think there was a report here where NISA was saying that they were told beforehand that it was a loan and not a grant. And they had some forms that they gave to them to fill if you were interested in getting that loan, which they would still recover at the end of the day. But some customers are saying they did not feel anything. It was just some people coming to say, we'll process it for you. And then the money is just disappearing.
It should not be hard to find. If there's paperwork, we'll
yes, they need to find that
corruption
paperwork.
into our system. And it's so sad when there's an initiative to help people, but we then sabotage it ourselves. This is not
middlemen.
So I have a story as well in the Punch, and it's the governors in the 6 North Central states on Tuesday. They went to visit the Plateau State government in commiseration with what happened the Christmas Eve attacks. And so the chairman of the North Central Governors Forum and governor of Nasarawa State, Abdullahi Sule, said that the Plateau State killing should not be tagged herder-farmer clashes, but rather what is happening in Plateau State is similar to what happened in Rwanda with the killing of about 800,000 members of the Tutsi minority group. He said that they all that were gathered there, the governors, had been to Rwanda and had spoken, with the Rwandan president, who said that what it took for them to move from there is got everyone involved and found the root cause of what that attack or that situation was about, and that's what needs to be done here. He says it's not about Fulanis or herder-farmer crisis. It's about criminalities and a few people who are taking advantage of this situation. And so a lot of work has to be done. And he also prayed for the governor to have the courage to be able to pursue, that path. And of course, referred to the fact that Plateau State is not a state of peace, but that's not what we're seeing anymore. They said that just the previous administration, they had gone for another condolence visit because of an attack like this. It seems to be ongoing.
Really sad. So the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has said efforts are ongoing to secure the release of the leader of the separatist indigenous people of Biafra, Mr. Nnamdi Kanu. He was speaking at a radio station where he was criticizing the sit-at-home that was ongoing, and according to him, he said that it was advising Southeast youth to stop forthwith the sit-at-home directive of IPOB, noting that it was scaring many investors away from the region, and that they need to show and demonstrate peace in that area. He said we can't put all our programs on social media. Nobody wants my brother. Nnamdi Kanu is our brother. We can't have him in prison. We're working on the ground to ensure he's released and putting together a strategy. It's not about violence. You can't coerce government. It has never worked in the past, and it's not working now. That we must use peace and wisdom to quench the issues of violence we have and get Nnamdi Kanu released. Moving on quickly now to Daily Sun. Southern Middle Belt leaders rise against terrorists. PDP sinks deeper over internal wranglings. How I escaped booby traps laid by my predecessor, says Adeleke. Be patient with federal government Kanu charges in Nigerians. And governments will continue to borrow because past regime left empty treasuries, says Oshoba. Okay, which story?
Okay, so Oshoba was just, talking, giving a general appraisal of the President Tinubu's administration and between, May and December 2023. And he says that, that we should not shy away from borrowing as the previous government left an empty treasury. What he meant was that 7.3 trillion ways and means fund borrowed by President Tinubu was necessary. He said when treasury is empty, when the previous administration was borrowing as well. So he said a treasury empty was handed over to the previous administration, and they also had to do a lot of borrowing to pay salaries and, to do a lot of things. So this administration, of course, will not come in and fetch into it. They would have to borrow, but borrowing will not last forever. That it will, over time, it will be a thing of the past. He said also this cash hoarding thing, the president has stated that he would sign an executive order to encourage Nigerians to bring out cash and so that we don't continue hoarding. He then went on to talk about the Plateau killings. He says, yes, that nobody would hear, no Nigerian would hear about the Plateau killings and they would not weep, and that he was with the president on Christmas Day and he felt the pain of the president about the Plateau killing. But the criticism that the president did not go immediately to Plateau is expected because it's part of opposition business. So when they were ACN, they too put that kind of pressure on the president. So the Labour Party candidate visiting Plateau is not new. It's something that, encourages robust conversations around these kind of things. He went on and on about a lot of things that this administration has done and addressed them. He said this hardship and the fuel subsidy as well are going things of the past. He said he didn't expect the president to assume office May 29 when there was no allocation for subsidy from that year's 2023 budget and not say that there will be removal of subsidy immediately because, of course, there was no allocation for him to take over office and pay it. And so he removed it immediately, but that this easing into it and all the conversations around it will finally get somewhere, just generally appraising
All right.
the administration.
More on Plateau State and the condolence visits that's happening. So we have the governors of the North Central region again, and they've expressed their willingness to work as a united front. They made a donation of 100 million to the state, to the victims of this massacre. We also have former Senate President David Mark, who's urged the president that, this means with this attack, it shows that the government has to look critically into the architecture of the security on ground so that we can better handle issues like this. Then the Plateau State chapter of the Jamaat Nasir Islam yesterday also visited the governor and commiserated with him. The chairman, who is also the emir of Wase, Alhaji Mohammed Haruna, described the incident as unfortunate. He says that you're fully aware there are Muslims living in Plateau State and that they felt that with this development, it was important to come and show their love, concern, and prayer, support, and suggestion on the way forward. They said that this sort of, this is beyond a religious event. This affects everyone in the state, and so they are giving their support, and also that we should be more careful. Like when the state receives signals of things that are about to happen, warnings, we should take them more seriously so that it does not get to this point.
Okay, moving on now to Vanguard. Tinubu's New Year address, no specific strategies to tackle challenges, says LCCI. Yuletide, controversy over federal government's 50% transport cut. 11 dead as one abducted as Boko Haram terrorists invade Chibok communities. FG suspends accreditation of degree certificates from Benin Republic and Togo. And killings in Middle Belt threatening Nigeria's existence. Okay, any story there?
Yeah, so I took a story yesterday about the transportation rebates that the federal government had promised Nigerians, and we know that the chairman of the Presidential Committee on the Implementation of the End-of-Year Transportation Subsidy Program of the President had said that once 160,000 passengers had benefited from that package. However, the Road Transport Employers Association of Nigeria, RTIN, said they were not carried along in the decision-making and implementation of the process. They said that they had, a closed-door meeting with the president initially, where they were asking them questions about what they wanted to do, and they gave their input, and they were waiting to, fill out a contract, to handle it. But up till date, they were not called. They were sidelined from the activity. And then Vanguard had initially sent out investigators to find out what exactly happened to different transport companies. And they said that one of the correspondents went to some of the transport companies that had been earmarked by the federal government to handle some of this, which is the Young Shall Grow Motors. And, they wanted to find out if the 50% reduction was going on, but they said that was not the case. They said, in fact, the fee had increased. The transport fee had increased from 35,100 to 38,000 from Abuja to Enugu, Onitsha. And, different states had increased their prices. And what they found was that some persons who were traveling in the night had a little deduction from their, initial fees, which from Lagos used to be 26,100, but now was reduced to 24,100. From Abuja, to Onitsha, Were, 24,100 to 22,100. And they said they kept, they asked the managers of some of these companies, and those ones said they are not aware that anything was happening. Some passengers also said they were asked to pay the full amount, that by the time they get to where their destination, they will refund them. Right. And that did not happen. A lot of them were complaining that they did not get that benefit, And, some of the managers said they had asked them to pre-book online, that those people who were booking online will get the rebate. Some persons said they struggled to book online. There were technical issues. They were not able to go. What's that person that speaks from... No, not the spokesperson. When you are doing online transactions, there's usually this customer care keeps saying, try again, transaction, keep waiting, we're waiting, and all of that. And it was not really successful. So, and the RTN, it was saying that if they had walked through them, they had data of all those companies, transport companies under them. They would have been able to make it seamless because they understood the parks, they understood the transport companies, the passengers, and all of that. It would have worked
It's
more
not the first time the government is doing that.
I actually don't even agree with the RTN. It's basic accounting. Pay, get your deductions, pay. So
they have
I don't know how this money will
saying
be
they
paid
did
to
not.
them, but Bachawe no shoe. The FCC is your friend.
No. The issues are really deep.
There's plenty, but
the thing is, because of
Nigerians,
corruption, we'll always look for different places to channel the money to us. It's so simple, as you said.
Governments are not angels. They've done their own bit. We, the
Nigerians,
people, now
do your
have
part.
to do your part. Or make sure that your citizens benefit from what they've done. That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we want our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.